What the hell's up, guys? What? Do you guys remember when there was this string of artists that were going on TikTok and were like, my record label's forcing me to do TikTok and put the song out? And I was like, damn, put the song out. Do you remember that? Here, but like when Halsey did it. Basically, I have a song that I love that I want to release ASAP, but my record label won't let me. I've been in this industry for 8 years and I've sold over 165 million records. And my record company is saying that I can't release it unless they can fake a viral moment on TikTok. And they are doing this to basically every artist these days. And I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a while because I feel like there are a lot of people who are very anti-label, like very like never sign anymore. I think the question of should you sign to a record label in today's music industry is it's a loaded topic and there's a lot of nuance. It's different for everyone. So I kind of wanted to dive into my take on the whole thing. And full transparency, what do I know, right? I mean, but at the same time, I've been in the music industry on a smaller scale for like past couple years, and I entered into the industry when TikTok was a major player, like in its prime. So my perspective is from a much newer standpoint than having a traditional sort of background in what the music industry used to be like pre-TikTok, because it's very different, probably. I don't know. In today's world, a lot of these record labels aren't looking to develop an artist. They're just looking for an artist who can develop themselves that they can put money behind. I don't think signing to a record label is inherently a bad thing for everyone. I think it can be a very beneficial thing as long as you go into it knowing exactly what you want and you're wanting things that the record label can totally help you with. And I think the necessity of a record label has gone down as social media has risen in pop culture. For example, like back, before YouTube and Instagram, especially back before TikTok, a lot of record labels had so much more leverage because how else is an artist, especially before the internet, how else is an artist supposed to get their music out there? It's like, okay, you can't just upload your music to Spotify. You can't just upload it to iTunes. You need a record label to do that for you. You need a record label to print these CDs, like go through all these companies and get your music in stores that way. You can do it independently, but it's just not gonna reach the amount of people that it would if you had a record label that cared about your project backing you. But now with the internet, with TikTok, you see people making music in like their closet or their bedroom, taking beats off YouTube, putting them on TikTok, singing over them, and getting hundreds of millions of streams on them. It's amazing. It is truly so amazing what people can do now to jumpstart their own music career. You don't need a label owning your masters, taking a majority of the money you're making off streaming after you pay back the advance that they give you. You can do this all yourself. But once you get to a certain level, you need a team behind you. You need those resources to help scale and keep you relevant and amplify your music after a viral TikTok moment. When an artist is approached by a label, I feel like the label will tend to tell you, like, we can help you connect with producers you want to work with. We can help you get a really awesome social media presence and help you develop that more and really figure out a way to push this music and amplify it and push you as a person and an artist. We can get you on better playlists and stuff like that. But in reality, number one, you have to assume that the A&R that's reaching out to you is going to stay at that company and at that label. And a lot of the time, unfortunately, they don't. The A&R that's going to sign you is probably going to leave the label at some point, go to a different label, different company, maybe start going management full time or something. And then you're going to be assigned a new A&R who might not necessarily get it. They might not be as passionate. A lot of the time, they probably won't be as passionate or have the bandwidth to really take on the workload of another artist than the person who signed you. A lot of these things that the labels can offer you, I feel like you could probably just do yourself. I have no experience working at a label, and I've met some very, very lovely label people. I just think that for independent artists out there who are maybe considering a label, I would just be very careful and understand that a lot of the time, these people are going to tell you what you want to hear. That doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the reality of the situation. I would really only count on the label's social media advice at most to be like, post on TikTok more. Maybe you should do this trend that someone else came up with. Unless you have a team that really knows what they're doing. And at that point, I think that you'll be able to tell that that label will offer you really valuable social media insight. There's like literally probably 1 or 2 people that I've met in the label sphere that I'm like, wow, okay, you really know what you're doing with social media. You're not just saying that you can help with it, like you understand. I think the most realistic way to look at a label is just a bank account, like a massive bank that could maybe help you in other areas of the music industry that maybe just yourself wouldn't be able to have access to, maybe. But I think the safest way to look at it is they're just going to give you a loan in advance, and then you can use that money however you want to help you grow. And I don't think that's to say you should sign to a label if you really need the money just in general. I think that although it's nice, it can definitely help fund you and, you know, make it so that you can do music full time. It does come with a catch a lot of the time, especially if you're not careful with the deal you sign, and make sure that it has both parties' interest in mind and is even more in your best interest. Because again, a lot of these times, these labels, they are not interested in developing new artists. You have already developed yourself. You've done that work that the label traditionally is supposed to do. So you're getting this money, but it's not necessarily money that you keep. This money is an advance. And what that means is you get this money from a label. Say you sign a deal you get $100,000 to make one album. That's such a hypothetical. But just for the sake of explaining, that one album, if you're lucky, has to make back 100% of that $100,000 before you start to make money on those royalties, whatever. And a lot of the time it's like maybe 20%, 30% of those royalties after you recuperate that $100,000. But a lot of the time these labels are like, actually, no, you have to recuperate 110%, 120% of that $100,000. So before you see any money at all on that music, you have had to have made back $120,000, 20% more than what you were given, before you see any money from that music. And you're probably like, well, I guess that makes sense. They gave you $100,000. That's a lot of money. That makes sense, right? But at the same time, you have to think, okay, well, they're giving you that money to put into making the music. So it's not just money you get to pocket. It's money that a lot of time you're going to have to pay producers. You're going to have to pay mixers, masterers. You're going to have to make music videos, get album art, maybe PR, stuff like that. Marketing team, TikTok campaigns. That money goes away fast. It might, unless you're really, really frugal with how you spend that money, it can get eaten up pretty quickly. And then it's like, okay, well, if you're signing to a label and you still feel like you have to be frugal, isn't that the whole point of signing to a label, so that you don't have to do that, so that you can make this music and live comfortably? I think that if you're in a spot where you do need the money, you're working another job while doing music, and you really, really just want to do music full time, the labels probably already know that, and they're going to give you a deal that might not be as much in your favor because, again, that's them having leverage still, in a sense. But with the internet, with TikTok, these labels are starting to come up with better deals. You know, maybe instead of owning the masters forever, you could do a deal where maybe they license your music for 10, 20 years, and then you get the masters back. You own the masters again after that period. And while you're with the label, maybe they only take like 40% of the streaming royalties rather than, 80. This is all to say, I don't necessarily think that it is 100% a bad idea to sign to a label. They're not going to offer you what it's worth to sign to them and sign away your masters. I think that a label can be very useful still. I think that, though, at the same time, they have a lot less leverage than they used to, and they know that. So if they're going to offer you a deal that is a bit more traditional in the older sense, you don't need it. Do not go to a label looking for help growing and developing your artist project, your social media page. Most of the time, they are not interested in that. And even if they are, it's likely that whoever signed you to that label might leave the company. So then you're stuck with someone who doesn't understand the project, has to sort of catch up, random A&R. And then all of a sudden you're, okay, cool, you're stuck with them for however many years, however many albums you signed for. I think there are a lot of artists that are doing really, really creative marketing campaigns that I feel like a traditional label would probably just not understand. Like, look at Zapotha. That is a marketing strategy for a song under the guise of like, let's do this funny inside joke in the comments. And now it's like so widespread. It's very smart. I think try to explain that concept to a music business person. They probably wouldn't get it. If you want to keep yourself from going insane, I think that you should really only look at a label as a big bank account. And truly, if you are like, well, this is what I would do for this album. I have this vision. I need this money to make these music videos and build this lore and all of that. If that is something that you need for your art and you think would genuinely take it to another level that if you did it DIY, it couldn't get to, then yeah. No, I think that's great. Then sure, sign to the label. Just be careful. Please study up on the music business yourself. Don't just go off of what your manager or your lawyer are telling you. I mean, you should definitely listen to what your lawyer is telling you. At the same time, though, how does your lawyer make money? They get a percentage of the money you make. So they're going to still look for your best interest. They're a lawyer, but please just understand all of this stuff yourself. So a book that I would recommend that's like a good start for learning about these things, I read this 10th edition, but there is already going to be an 11th edition. So I think maybe just like wait for this one to come out and then read this one. It's coming out in October. And because this 10th edition doesn't really account for TikTok. I don't think they talk about like social media that much after the big boom of what TikTok has done for artists. So I assume that this 11th edition will be a bit more up to date in that front. But if you're like, I need to know now, like I think the 10th edition is so good enough. Just like keep that in mind. Don't take my advice as fact. I'm just another freak. I've only been in this business for like 2 years. And well, maybe it's been 3. I guess it's been 3 years at this point. Oh my God, 2020 was 3 years ago. Okay, 3 years, whatever. Sure, let's go with that. But I think within those 3 years, I've learned enough about this business where I feel like my perspective could at least be a little helpful if you're a newer artist or an older artist, whatever. Everyone's different too. I really enjoy making content. I love making content. It's like my favorite thing to do. Music and content, I love them equally. Genuinely. I have so much fun making these videos and talking my crap and seeing what you freaks have to say. We just have so much fun and it's really just fun and nice and I love it. Making the thumbnail. Oh, maybe I'll use this face in the thumbnail. Oh, maybe I'll put the yellow text over here this time. It's fun. I like it. It's nice. I am so happy that I can do YouTube full time and I'm so lucky and privileged in that sense that I can make YouTube videos full time and not have to worry about, oh, well, I want to do music full time and I need that money. So I find a label to sign me. Like if you can do that, if you can be a successful YouTuber, TikToker, I would suggest YouTube over TikTok. I do think it's a lot more stable than TikTok in terms of money. But if you can be a content creator that has stable income, making content, and you enjoy it, you love it, then the label's gonna have to fight a lot harder. They're gonna have to give you a lot more to offer if they want to sign you. So yeah, all that to say, are record labels even worth it anymore? Maybe. It is so case by case. But I think there are certain things that a record label will say they can offer to you that you should really take with a grain of salt. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. It's fun to do. Subscribe to the channel. I upload like 2 to 3 times a week. Lately, I've been a monster 3 times a week. I don't care. Oh, Friday. Oh, it's Friday. I don't care. New video. Oh, it's Wednesday. Don't care. Oh, it's Monday. I'm tired. Don't care. And if you haven't heard my music, it would mean a lot to me if you checked it out. I make music under the name Dev Lemons. Super serious. Oh, but it's fun. And if you want to be crazy, want to go totally nuts, check out my band Queef Jerky. It's insane. It's me and Nick, and we have fun. And sometimes Ethan. Fun. I like that. New tattoo. I'm not worried about it. Ooh. Yeah, it's a ray gun, okay? Oh, do you know what that is? Yeah, I know what it is. That's why I got it. Okay, guys. Have a great little day and a bye.